Hey guys, welcome back to the X Ring. And on today's episode, I thought it was a really good idea. You guys watched the Memorial 3-gun event, and I figured now was a good time to show you everything that I take and everything that I use going to a major match like this. Yeah, it's a lot of gear, but it's better to have it and not need it than to want it and not have it. So what I'll do is I've added nothing. This is me taking the truck, cleaning it out, and I'll show you everything I take to the stages and what I took to shoot that event. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so one of the first considerations in going to a major match is completely different than going to a local match or even a major match where you can drive your vehicle from stage to stage. Whenever you do that, you can just have all the stuff in the vehicle and pull it out as you need it because you're only going to be, maybe 30, 40 yards away from the vehicle at all times. You need to go to the restroom, you can hop in the car, go to the facilities. But at a major match, it doesn't work that way if you're required to use a cart and you have to park your vehicle in a common area. Now, nowadays you don't see a whole lot of that, but it does happen. It just happened. This is 2019. 3-gun's been going on for a long time. And at that Memorial 3-gun event, we had specified parking and the stages were set up elsewhere. So the first thing I needed to do was to buy a baby stroller. Now, you might say, well, why don't you just man up and carry it? Well, you can carry it, and that's what this bag does, is it actually has backpack straps. But when you're going to shoot 4 or 5 stages and your vehicle's half a mile away, you have ammunition considerations, and carrying that, you want to be able to have a cooler. There's a lot of gear you got to take with you. So being able to, this isn't a trooper division in a sniper match. This is a 3-gun event. You have a lot of weapons platforms, a lot of different ammunition, and a lot of different gear to carry. So I've seen 2 different things on this. What most people will use is an all-terrain baby stroller. I'll show you what I picked up. Like I told you in the video, I picked it up on Facebook Marketplace. I paid $60 for it, and I've seen guys configure these things like to no end, where they have everything and the kitchen sink hanging off of it. But I'll talk more about that in just a minute. And then the other thing is guys will go to Home Depot or Lowe's or someplace like that, and they'll buy this pull-behind cart. If you do that, make sure you get the one with the pneumatic tires. If you get the little small plastic wheels, those do not pull well in heavy gravel, and a lot of times they'll have it where you've got to have a cart because vehicles get stuck and things like that, and you're probably going to be in a place with unimproved roads. So you definitely want something with all-terrain pneumatic type tires that are larger. Don't go with solid wheel tires. Also, those carts are a pain in the butt, like the Red Flyer wagons and all that, because as you're trying to pull it, you can't really get a good stride. You could extend that handle. All right, guys, so when I got the email, I knew that I was going to have to get some type of stroller because the email stated you needed to have one of these because of the distance involved. So I got on the marketplace, I found one for $60, I met the lady, it was in good shape, it was fine, and it was just something like this. You'll notice that this does have the 16-inch tires. It'd be nice if I could take these off with a quick release. Some of them have that feature, but I just needed something to get me through the weekend. So basically, I did have to modify 1 or 2 things, and it wasn't much. This usually has a little sunshade for the child in here. First thing I did was rip that thing off. I was gonna cut this off, but the reason I didn't is I figured this would hold my bag pretty well. Also cut a little strap that was down here, and I removed the little eating tray. There was really no reason for me to have that here, and I'm going to show you why I did that. All right, guys, so you'll see a lot of these things even at local matches because a lot of people don't like to go back and forth to their vehicle. I'll see guys make wooden trays and things like that for it, but what you'll see mostly is guys will get these. These are rifle rack holders for like UTVs or ATVs or anything like that. And what they'll do is they'll rig up a contraption where they'll have 2 of these, or they'll put a little box on the bottom, and they can just lay their rifle in it and shotgun on the other side, and then this all leaves the center portion for pistol, ammunition, things like that. I don't like to do that, and there's a actual explanation for that. Usually when you go to these places, things are really, really dusty, and I like to keep my optics and my rifles clean. I don't like to have the dust on them, all over them. When cars are driving by, all that stuff is settling, so I don't use these. What I wanted to do was try to keep it a little more simple than that, and then I've got my bag over here, and I'll show you what that's all about. Guys, so in order to keep this as simple as possible, what I wanted to do is have my 3-gun bag here, be able to lay it just on top, just like this. And this is why, and I'm going to go ahead and lock this down so it doesn't roll down the mountain here. I didn't want to take these off. These are easily removed. can take that off like that, but I figured it would be a guard to be able to keep this bag from rolling left and right and falling off. It also already had some Velcro straps on here. So what I did was just went over one handle, Velcroed it, went over on the other handle, Velcroed it, and what this actually did is it kept it from sliding down, kept it from rolling over. And at the match, sometimes I actually put this over it, but I still have this whole top access compartment to be able to get everything. Now, this bag is the key to everything. This is the Voodoo Tactical. Now, the Voodoo Tactical 3-gun bag, it's a little pricey. You're looking at over $200, but it will literally hold everything for you. So let's go take a look at this. All right, guys, so looking at the Voodoo bag, what you've got is a large pocket here, 2 smaller pockets, large pockets, whoops, gotcha. Okay, and then a large pocket here, and then you have the center portion. Now, when you open up this center portion, like I said, this is straight from the match. It's gonna be very discombobulated, if you will, but it's all in here. So you guys can see this shotgun. This is one of the few bags where you can use the extension tube and everything else, and it still zips up in here perfectly, just like that. It also has a padded edge here so that if you drop it, you can see how all that protects your weapons in here. And so I have one compartment for shotgun. Now, that compartment actually zips. If you guys see this zipper here, you lift up this, so I can zip that compartment closed. It has a middle section, and you can configure these any way you like. I actually had some magazines out from the last stage, but it'll hold 6 pistol mags. And then I've got provisions here for 3 rifle mags, 2 more rifle mags, and these actually you can just unvelcro and place them where you want. And then on this right here is where I located my pistol bag. And what I do is I have the whole bag in there, not just the pistol itself, and that zips up. You also have Velcro here. This is all Velcro in this area. And this pouch zips up as well. So it'll keep everything separate. There's the rifle, and that's the whole setup. When I was done, I would just place everything in there. Nothing would fall out, and I would zip it up. I had easy access to it. It kept all the dust off my guns from walking or when I wasn't shooting. But more importantly, it kept the heat off the guns. They weren't just sitting there baking in the sun. Now, on these pouches here, the way I have them configured, if I open this one, I'm gonna have all of my shotgun accessories in here. No, you don't have to carry the shotgun ammo in here, but like I said, this is straight from the match, the last stage. And I've got my Invictus Practical Caddies. So these are what I normally use. There are some other good ones like the Safariland, but for the way that I load, I use the Invictus Practical 8s, and I have 2 of these. Sometimes I'll run a 3rd one if it's a very shotgun intensive stage. So that's what stays in this pouch. This pouch right here, if you open it, what I always have in here are my shotgun choke tubes. And that is actually gonna be in this area here because when I got done with it, I threw in this pocket because I knew I was leaving. So the tubes stay in there. Now, I've already covered everything with regards to shotgun chokes, or as the tubes. You know, you want to make sure you have IC, light modified, modified. I used everything, spreader and all, during the course of this match. This area right here is where I'm going to have my toolkit. So these are going to be the Fix-It sticks, which a ton of guys asked me to use this weekend. They had mounts come loose, things like that, and I've already done a review on this. You guys know how involved that is and what all it will do. I also have my Borka tool in there as well, along with some money in case there's a vendor. That way I've got it all. This pouch right here, this will have my bug spray. All right, you want to make sure you take plenty of this. They were unbearable where we were shooting because of the hurricanes, and so they had a ton of gnats and everything else. I also have a tourniquet in here. We always know about that. And then I always keep my magazine pouches for my belt. I'm going to go over that here in just a minute and how I carried it, but I just wanted to show you everything that was in the bag. All right, guys, so you want to be able to carry everything very efficiently. Now, my belt, I've reviewed this before. It's just a Safariland belt. And then the magazine pouches, I just place them where I want, whether it's a Blade Tech or Safariland, doesn't matter. And I have all of the ELS keepers set up so that I can run pistol, I can run rifle, shotgun, and move them as is needed. I still use the G-code. I'm going to continue to use that. It's very fast, very effective. I basically just drop the holster in here, lock that switch. It's not coming out. I don't have to worry about it. I did add the carbon arms ratchet, and I love it. I would never go back to the little button tabs and sliding that underneath because it was just such a pain. You always want to orient this on the back of your back. That gives you more real estate up front. You don't have a buckle closure up in the front here. But it works very simply. You just pull that up, and then now I just get it close. I don't even have to turn my back. I just ratchet it. It gets tighter and tighter, and then the Velcro is going to hold and lock on. But I don't want to wear this. I'm one of those, I don't like to wear my belt unless I need it for a stage. So what I will literally do is just place it right there, and it's hanging on its own. I also need some type of cooler. I have to be able to stay hydrated. You got to be able to keep food and everything else. So that evening before the match, I actually went and bought a little soft cooler like this from Walmart. It's a little Ozark Trail. It didn't cost that much. And what I did was in the hotel room, I actually went and bought those 99-cent little cool packs, put those in the refrigerator. Those froze in the freezer portion. And then in the mornings, I put my water in here, and I put my Pop-Tarts in the top or whatever other snacks that I wanted. And this actually fit perfectly right there on the bottom. So I had that, so that's taken care of. Any extra ammunition that I had, I put it here in front, or I had all of this space underneath the bag that was created by that void there. I don't shoot in sunglasses. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that when I shoot, and it's just something unique to me. I wear sunglasses during the day when I'm talking, but when it's actually time to shoot, I will take sunglasses off, and I don't care if you've got a crazy expensive pair of sunglasses. I don't like anything that shades. I like clear lenses. When I'm looking through optics, it just works best for me. So I kept both of my sunglasses in that area there where they couldn't get scratched, along with some other soft goods, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. All right, soft goods. You always want to make sure you have some microfiber towels. You don't need this many, but you need about 2. And I like microfiber because it's really good for taking the sweat off. You can wet it, you can get it cool, throw it on your neck, whatever the case is. But then keep one or some type of lens cleaning cloth for your glasses, and then also for your optics. You want to be able to wipe those off, and you don't want to use the ones you use for your sweat because then you're just going to smear it and smudge it. These are cheap. You can get a 30 pack from like Walmart, and they're like $10 or $11. Love these things. I kind of treat them as disposable. If I'm out and I'm traveling, I'll use it a couple times, wipe my shoes off, whatever, get rid of them. You also need a set of gloves, because you will be responsible for resetting usually, okay? Your squad has to reset. And what I do is I kind of stay in my normal clothes, if you will. My shirt's untucked and everything else until it's about 3 or 4 spots from me actually shooting. And you'll know the shooting order because they're gonna call that out. And guys, the way this works is once they establish a shooting order for one stage, the next stage they'll usually drop down 1 or 2 spots, and they'll keep going from there. So as you get further into the match, chances are you will have to go first at some point in time, maybe even twice. So what I do is I stay relaxed and comfortable because I got to reset. You've got to put on pasties, and if it's a very steel intensive match, use gloves. I know that it sounds bad, but number one, it keeps all of that lead off of your hands, keeps it more on the gloves, because you're going to be picking up a lot of steel, resetting the Texas Stars, picking up steels off the ground, and a lot of those have very sharp edges, maybe where rifles have hit them in the past or things like that. It's a good way to get cut. That right there is a good example. That was actually from one when I was helping reset. I did not have my gloves on at the time because I had just got done pasting. I go to pick it up, of course I hit it and it cuts my thumb open. It's okay, I can deal with it, but you want a set of gloves. Also, it helps keep from getting that lead contaminant all over you. So gloves are good to have. All right guys, so there's 2 more things you really want, and one is going to be a chair. Find something as light as possible. This chair is crazy light. This is an old one. I could not find one at Walmart when I was there, but basically I had it set up so that I actually cut a portion out of here that had a button tab on it, and so I could just go through the chair itself, button this back, and make sure that it didn't get in the tires, and it just hung right here, because there will be times you're going to be sitting and you're going to want to have a chair. Not all of them are going to have a place to sit, take a break, get that weight off your feet, but you want some type of chair. The other thing is you're going to need some way to get out of the sun. Now, this is probably not the best way, but I did not have the setup for this that I probably should have had. But this I bought for like $6. It was at Walmart. Yes, it's cheap, it's probably disposable, but it worked. And basically all I did was just clamp that on like this. And that was a little spring perch, so even when it was real windy out, I've got my umbrella. This actually locks into here so it doesn't go anywhere. And then once you do that, I actually have shade. You can move it around to where if I needed to get the sun, I could either move the cart or I could just sit in a different location. This also keeps all the heat and everything off the guns, especially if I have it open. An umbrella will help a tremendous amount. And I see everything from patio umbrellas to you name it. I mean, stuff that's crazy. So just be aware if it gets real windy, you might have to take this down. That's what we've got so far as the stuff we're taking on course. Let's talk about the other stuff that I brought and why I brought it. All right, guys, so now what we need to talk about is everything that you're going to carry in the hotel room. This is something that I believe if I've got the money in either traveling, fuel, hotel, entry fees, what I don't want to do, especially if I've got a good match going, is I don't want my pistol to start causing problems because I was too lazy to clean it. I have a lot of money invested at this point, and unfortunately I don't want it to affect my finish because I got to the room, I was tired, I want to watch TV or something like that. So what I do is I always take a cleaning kit. What I do is I have one box that has all of my cleaning supplies in it, and then I have an MTM case that I can just set up real quickly, put my rifle in there, swab it out, throw some oil in it, and I do this every night for the shotgun, rifle, pistol. That way I make sure that everything's good, it's dust free, I'm not going to have any issues as long as it's not mechanically related, and that I've done my part to ensure that I can get through the match without a lot of issues. You also want to take spare shoes. So I had these shoes on most of the match. I had a spare shoes on in case it rained. And I can't tell you how many times I've been to a match and whoever I'm rooming with, they only took one pair of shoes, their shoes are soaking wet, and then the second day they got to put their foot back into a wet shoe, or they're going to stick them on top of the air conditioning unit in the room, and your room is going to stink to high heaven. So I always take a spare set of shoes that breathe, not Gore-Tex based, because if I want Gore-Tex shoes, I'm going to use boots or something like that. And then you also want to carry a set of muck boots or rain boots. These are hard to shoot in, but that would be under extreme circumstances. But when you are at a match where you are just doing a lot of the resetting and it's not your time to shoot, sometimes there'll be deep water where you've got to reset and you don't want to just constantly step in it and your foot's just getting waterlogged and it looks like a prune at the end of the day. I also have a gear bag. Now in this gear bag here, I will keep everything from rangefinders. I usually have a set of Leica range-finding binoculars. That way I can glass the long-range targets. I can get a estimate on it on the range. I don't always trust everybody else's ranges. I know these are going to be right. And then I also carry a small set of the Leicas in my bag, or that'll be in my pocket when I'm doing the walkthroughs. I also carry a little notepad, do some notes. Another thing you guys can do is take your cell phone and just take videos of the stage along with the stage descriptions. That way when you're doing the pre-planning the night before or anything like that, and you're trying to remember, you can use that as a visual cue to help get you an idea on what your stage plan needs to be for the next day. The other thing I want to talk about is in this big old MTM case guard box. You can get these dry boxes. That's where I keep all my rifle, shotgun, and pistol ammunition. Now, I will go through each weapons platform that I carry, the exact same thing. I'll do that probably in part 2. But make sure you're carrying a box of Prairie Storm. Now, this is not legal for all competitions. This is 1,500 feet per second. This is lead shot number 6, ounce and a quarter. And what this will give you is that extra oomph if you've got spinners or heavy steel, and maybe you just want to take one shot at a spinner instead of taking 4 shots at a spinner. But not all competitions will allow this. A lot of times they'll put a speed restriction on your shotgun ammunition. They don't do that for rifle ammunition. It's usually as long as you don't have anything that's steel core, green tips, anything like that, you're good. But you want to make sure that you have some of this. Usually if somebody else is using it, maybe you can borrow 1 or 2 rounds from them. I try to be self-sufficient and not have to borrow stuff from people. But that's what I carry. And that's everything to get me through the match. So now let's talk about the guns. Stay tuned for part 2. I'll get it up as soon as I can. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.